All right, guys, in this video, we're going to be looking at lesson 14. This is coming right after lesson 12. In this lesson, we're talking about outliers and what they are. You may have heard that term outlier before. I imagine that you might have heard that term outlier in 8th grade, maybe in 7th grade. So you probably have an idea of what an outlier is, but they do put it in a bold font. So that means it's a vocab word for today. So in the warm-up, when you look at this histogram, you may look at it and say, hey, I think there's an outlier on there. And you're probably right. So let's talk about our two activities today. The first one is investigating outliers. As you can see, one of the first things that we need to do is find the mean and standard deviation. Now, we already talked about that in lesson 12, but I'm going to go over it one more time just in case you didn't see it or you forgot about it. And we're also going to talk about the 5-number summary. So if I come onto Desmos right here, you can see my original data set that we used before. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. Now pay attention, we have the minimum, the median, and the maximum. And you can see that all of those are regular font. They're not italicized, which means you can type these in exactly the way that you see them here. You can also find them on the keyboard under functions. And if you just scroll down a little bit to statistics, there they all are. There's the median, the minimum, the maximum. There's quartile, and we're going to talk about quartile now. But when I type in quartile, in parentheses, I'm going to put the list first. So notice on all of these that it says X1. So that's my list that I'm going to be using. And then on this one, I put comma 1. And what that 1 stands for is the first quartile. So if you think about quartiles as being quarters, so you have $0, then you have 25 cents, then you have 50 cents, you have 75 cents, and you have $1. Well, the 0 and the $1 are kind of like the minimum and the maximum. The 50 cents is kind of like the median. And then the first quartile would be like 25 cents. And then if you look down here, you have the quartile X1, comma 3. This is the third quartile or the third quarter or the 75 cents. And so that's the way to understand the 5-number summary. So if we jump back on here, we're asked to find that 5-number summary and then go ahead and take a look through 2 and 3 and solve some of those questions, answer some of those questions. And then on number 2, it's really just talking about your kind of a follow-up to that warm-up. So you're looking at these data values. Again, you can use technology to do this and find the minimum and the maximum, but you need to answer those questions about quartiles. And so I'll leave that there for you. There are a couple of questions on there. If you want to give this a shot, it's an Are You Ready for More? So you can give that a shot. Otherwise, here's the lesson summary, and it talks a little bit more about that vocab, and it reviews what you learned in the lesson. So guys, that's it. That's what you're going to do on lesson 14. Obviously, if you have questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we'll talk.